If your ex hates your guts, most likely they're going to try to get the kids to hate your guts as well. That's called parental alienation.
Hi, my name is Maddie and welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project. Here I talk about all things related to a certain form of psychological child abuse, which is when one parent manipulates their child to reject their other loving parent. I started speaking out last summer. I realized everything about 2 years ago. I had believed lies about my dad for 20 years, that he was abusive, that he doesn't love me, that he doesn't care about me, and that he's a bad guy. It wasn't true. And I missed 20 years with my dad, so now I speak out about this. You know, with every video that I post, I'm trying to get through to a different audience. That's why I do these videos. Here's the first one. This girl is doing a little bit of a parody about being a parental alienator.
I'm a parental alienator. I'm more likely to be the dad if I have more access to finances and power. But I'm more likely to be the mom if the dad doesn't have access to the money or the power.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I'm a parental alienator. I don't believe I'm a good enough parent just all on my own, so I feel like I have to use manipulation tactics to get my kids to love me.
Wow, that one is true. I believe that to be true. I've said this a few times. It comes from a deep-seated insecurity and fear in the parent that the child is going to leave them, won't love them, the child loves the other parent more. And the sad thing is, if they could just go to therapy and work out that fear and that insecurity, they wouldn't be alienating their child because they'd be secure enough in their relationship with their child. They wouldn't feel the need to control the child's other relationship with their other parent. By the way, I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who's lived through this for almost my whole life. I'm not an expert, and I never will claim to be an expert. These are my reactions as someone who's lived through this. That's absolutely true.
I feel like if my kids had more access to the targeted parent, they wouldn't like me as much. I'm a parental alienator. I'll take the targeted parent off of our kids' emergency cards and replace them with the new step parent. They won't find out until they try to pick their own children up from school and get refused. They'll have to go down to the board office and prove that they're the parent.
Why is this particular thing so common? I mean, I really am wondering, like, why the school aspect is so common, because this is what happened to me. My mom put me in a new school. I told the principal and told my teacher, you know, that there's a restraining order. If her dad comes to the school, you need to call the police. And I was just so anxious to look out for the windows for cop cars all the time at school in the 3rd grade. It seems like this is a really common tactic. Leave in the comments below if you've experienced this yourself with your kids. I'm curious to hear, or if you've experienced this as a child. I'm just really curious about why they utilize this school.
I'm a parental alienator. My kids have to work very hard for my emotional validation. The only time they'll get it is by disparaging the targeted parent or the targeted parent's family or household.
That's true. I think that's part of the reason why the child agrees with the parent and restates back to the parent what they want them to say, is because they aren't getting that emotional validation, that feeling of acceptance most of the time.
They'll learn the only way to make me happy is to put down my ex. They do the job for me. It's amazing the type of stories they'll make up to get my validation. They'll make an entire fantasy world that doesn't exist around the other parent for me.
I think overall she got the parental alienator down pretty well in that video, except for the first point about the money and the men. I'm not sure if that's true, but here's the next one. This account is called The Ugly Truth of Divorce.
If your ex hates your guts, most likely they're going to try to get the kids to hate your guts as well. That's called parental alienation. You need to do your best at not wasting the energy on trying to get the court to believe you, because those of us that have been in the family law system for a while, it's a failed system. What you should be doing is making yourself good and taking care of your kids and helping them as best you can inside of your own home.
Easier said than done. For the severe cases of parental alienation, the parent, how do I put this? I think there are sometimes a misconception. Some of these parents, and I'm speaking from personal experience here, but also from everything that I've read and learned, some of these parents, they actually are not consciously lying to their kid. And let me explain what I mean. The fact of the matter is that when she was telling me these things as a child, in her mind, she wasn't lying. In her mind, she was just telling me the truth. Point is, it's the pathological liar that convinces themselves of their own lies. So you're dealing with someone who's not living in reality. That's not every alienator, by the way. A lot of them maybe do know they're lying and they purposefully are lying to the kid. And maybe there's a mix of both. Like some parents they know in and out they're lying, but I don't know. I'm just trying to say, to think that the targeted parent can prevent this or have any way to turn this around by themselves, I think is putting too much on the targeted parent, because it is so similar to a cult and a cult-like relationship between the parent and the child who's alienated. They really do need professional help. The child really does need like an expert in their mental health.
Show them who you truly are. Just show them that some of the things they're hearing about you isn't true. You don't talk to your kids about it. You show them the things aren't true. I wasted so much time and energy going to my ex to try to get him to stop, and then I went to the court to try to get him to stop. Don't be me. Just focus on your kids and helping them through this horrible phase of their life, because it's horrible.
It's not bad advice that it's better to just try to show your kids who you are. That's a good piece of advice. Now, this is one of my favorite parental alienation TikToks I think I've ever seen. I hope that if you take one thing away from this video, it's this TikTok and what he has to say. Watch this.
One thing that happens that leads me to believe that there's parental alienation going on, and I want to go ahead and head this off. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I am not telling you that parental alienation is the right term to use or whatever you want to call it, okay? But these are the things that the courts are going to recognize. And the second is, I'm not talking about situations where there's specific allegations of abuse. That's going to be something very different here, and that's not what I'm discussing either. But if a child cannot think of one single positive thing to say about one parent or the other, those are the situations where I'm going to recommend that they seek PhD level therapeutic treatment for alienation. And the reason is, even going to get ice cream is not fun. They can't think of a single fun or positive thing to say about one parent or another. That, to me, signals there's something going on here, and it's not based on the fact.
I believe that's true. Children who are experiencing any other type of abuse other than parental alienation, they will be able to list at least one thing good about their parent, or spending time with their parent, or something they've done fun with their parent in the past. Like, they will be able to pick some good things about their parent. I mean, even with my mom, I can do that. But when I was a kid with my dad, even a teenager with my dad, I could not do that. It's the splitting mechanism that the child develops in order for survival, which I should probably do a whole video on, except I'm not that knowledgeable about it. I only have the experience of what that's like to go through, but I don't know the research about it. Another thing I would add to this guy's advice in terms of, is the child actually alienated, is I would say, when you ask the child, what can your parent do to improve the relationship? What can they do to earn your trust back? The child will say, nothing. They can't. There's nothing they can do.
Children detach from the non-abusive parent because they are brainwashed by the abusive parent, which is parent alienation. It is more damaging than physical child abuse and will leave a lifetime impairment in the child's cognitive function.
Follow and click link for more.
Yeah, that's the ironic part, is that it's severe psychological abuse, but people still take physical and sexual abuse more seriously because you can't see it. You can't see the effects, at least not immediately, and especially if you're not looking. Okay, I'm going to do another one by Ben. I like this guy, the Trauma Corner. This is not specific to parental alienation, but I got to tell you what, everything that this guy posts on TikTok resonates with me. I really like him.
Always remember that if you were the black sheep in a toxic family, then that's the biggest compliment they will ever give you. They are saying, we are toxic as and you don't belong here, you stick out. Like, thanks. Nice one.
And then here's a quote I wanted to share. Alienated children learn that they can't even trust their own judgment because what they see is a much different picture than what they are told. This is perhaps one of the most destructive effects of parental alienation, especially once you learn the truth. It's hard to trust yourself. It's hard to trust yourself to know who and what to trust. Everything seems upside down and backwards. and life is like one big panic attack. I would not recommend this on my worst enemy. Thanks for watching. That's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed. You got something insightful or helpful. Please leave a thumbs up to get parental alienation into the world and into the algorithm. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. If you'd like to help us continue to do these college campus educational campaigns, please head over to our website, theanti-alienationproject.com. On our website, we also have a blog where we put out weekly blog posts every Friday. If you are someone who's been through parental alienation as a child, please check out our support group and request to join. Thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of your day. Talk to you next time. Bye.